You're listening to The Signal Daily. Hi, I'm Shaurbari, your host for The Signal Daily podcast. This is the episode for 12th June 2024. In today's episode, we get into how Japan's government is planning to launch a dating app to encourage marriage and kids. We also unpack the latest WWDC event and what Apple is doing to be in the AI race. Stay tuned till the end of this episode. Okay, so get this. Japan wants its citizens to date so badly that it wants to play Cupid. It's planning to launch its own dating app called the Tokyo Futari Story. Perhaps the intention is to create love stories because in Japan, Futari means two people or a couple. The details of the app are a bit hazy as of now, but it's a novel idea, I guess, for a country where people are so lonely that they are ready to pay for cuddles. I'm not joking. Renting affection is actually a thing in Japan. You can rent a cuddle, rent a cat, rent friends and families. But look, at the surface level, it might seem a bit funny, but it's actually quite serious what Japan is going through. Unlike the community feeling of smaller towns and rural areas, big cities and urban areas are always stressful. You're hustling because of the cost of living and poor economic prospects. You're traveling for work all the time. You're stretched for your time and you barely even know your neighbor. That's why living in a city can get a bit lonely, and the digital era has perhaps only exacerbated this loneliness. But the financial stress combined with loneliness is actively dissuading people from pairing up and getting married, which in most societies, including Japan, has a direct correlation to having children. As a result, Japan's birth rate has been falling precipitously for years now, and recently it touched a new low at 1.20. So basically what this means is that the younger demography is shrinking compared to the older demography, and the country is looking at a real crisis in the making. As per CNN, in 2023, Japan recorded 1.57 million deaths, more than double the number of births. The number of marriages also fell by 30,000 last year, while the number of divorces shot up. And the repercussions of this will be felt everywhere, the workforce, the economy, and society in general. We've actually talked about one of the symptoms of this problem in a previous episode of The Signal Daily. As Japan's population is growing older, over 1.2 million small businesses run by individuals aged 70 and above are struggling to find successes now. So maybe in this scenario, a government-run dating app could work because they're not interested in making money. They're just 100% invested in helping people to find love and get down to business. But as a Bloomberg piece points out, Japan is a quote-unquote front-runner but not an outlier when it comes to this family crisis. The fertility rate has been dropping over time globally, meaning lesser babies, or to put it bluntly, a shrinking workforce. But is AI the answer to this future crisis or government dating apps? And now for a second segment, we are going to bring you deep dives on stories from the world of technology, business, policy, and anything that leaves you with food for thought. The 2024 Apple Worldwide Developer Conference, or the WWDC event, has come bearing the news that we were all waiting for. I'm not an Apple geek by the farthest measure, but I was curious about what it would do to level up its AI game because it had a fair bit of catching up to do. It's not really integrated AI features into its consumer-facing products in a way that its rivals Samsung or Google and Microsoft have been doing. And essentially, this WWDC event was all about the mic drop, telling the world that Apple is a strong contender of the big tech race for AI supremacy. So as anticipated, lots of new AI features are coming embedded into iPhones, iPads, and Macs. One of the big reveals was Apple's own AI system. Maybe creativity is dead because the company is calling it Apple Intelligence, but anyway, Apple Intelligence will be able to write, proofread, create images, take action across apps, and draw from users' personal context to simplify and accelerate everyday tasks. Tim Cook explained that his vision is to personalize AI for users. And I'm quoting him here, quote, AI has to understand you and be grounded in your personal context like your routine, your relationships, your communications, and more. It's beyond artificial intelligence. It's personal intelligence, end quote. But some people are pointing out that these features are similar to what Microsoft's Copilot can do. Now, the second big reveal is Siri getting an AI boost with a little help from OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot. Now, OpenAI was name-dropped only for a hot minute at the event, but the AI company's chief executive Sam Altman was among the attendees of the WWDC event. And basically, the deal is that if you have a query for Siri, it can automatically feed that question to ChatGPT if the user permits it. Also, folks who have subscriptions for ChatGPT premium plans will be able to access those paid features within Siri and Apple's other apps. And I feel that this is actually a big deal for a couple of reasons. Firstly, if you remember in a previous episode of the Signal Daily when we covered OpenAI's new quote-unquote realistic voice assistant, we had talked about how voice assistants like Siri and Amazon's Alexa, Microsoft's Cortana became the next big thing at one point and then plateaued. I mean, how often do you really use it? And when you do, it's perhaps for mundane directions, right? So with OpenAI's new voice assistant and Siri's revamp, it is possible that voice assistants could become relevant again and shift the traditional mode of web searches towards a voice assistant-powered search. The second reason why Apple's collaboration with OpenAI is a big deal is because it's really asserting the young startups' dominating position in the tech industry. I mean, everybody wants a piece of it. Microsoft has already poured billions into a deal with OpenAI, and even Apple is now banking on its expertise to make its products smarter. That's too much power for an AI company that is hogging data, that has fired its super alignment AI safety team, and is also allegedly making its employees sign an NDA, no? But moving on, as Apple unveiled all its new features, it also asserted that it prioritizes user privacy. Now remember, Apple has always touted itself to be protective of consumer privacy. That's the Apple brand. But what happens to privacy when ChatGPT is integrated in Apple's products? Now, Tim Cook told reporters that Apple plans to bring in a quote-unquote new standard for privacy and AI, and that they really want to quote-unquote apply this technology in a responsible way. Well, okay, very thoughtful, but we need to see the plan of action first. And I don't always quote Elon Musk to make a point, but I leave you with what the Tesla CEO tweeted. Quote, "It's patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet it is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on once they hand your data over to OpenAI. They are selling you down the river." End quote. And with that, we wrap today's episode. If you like listening to the Signal Daily, please show some support. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this podcast. So feel free to shoot an email at hello@thesignal.co. This episode was researched, written and produced by me, Shorbari, edited by Venkat Anand, mastered and mixed by Yash Hirve. You can catch this podcast every morning on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are thesignal.co on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.